Welcome everyone. Welcome to this Master Media Design Alumni Talk. I will just talk a bit briefly about the Master's program, quickly for those who don't know here. So it's a Master in Interaction Design. During the 2 years program, we go around different tools and topics like creative coding, AI, 3D, game engine, electronics too. So it's split it in 2 years. The first year is really to go around all those topics through different workshops. And during the second year, there is the firstly, first semester, it's about the master thesis, so theoretical. And then we go into the practical with the master project. So this master is for students who come from design field, but they can also come from engineering field. There is no technical requirement, but just a strong interest in digital culture. So now I'll let the who will start. I think Amaury.
Yeah. If you want, I can start.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Let me try and find a way to share my screen.
Okay, sorry, I have to stop mine. Oof. Tuk, tuk.
Okay. Where is this option? Do I have this somewhere? Ah, yeah, partager. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Amaury Hamon. I finished the master last year, and I will introduce a bit what I've done since then. So, to briefly sum up my background, I started as a graphic designer and initially studying illustration fine arts in Belgium before arriving in Switzerland to study first graphic design and then the master in media design at HED. And now I'm basically based in Renan, which I'll cover a bit later. But to briefly sum up, the diploma I did at the end of the 2 years was it was a project called Pathways, which is basically an exploration tool online to navigate through network media. With different goals, such as to encompass contemplative exploration and active wayfinding over content, and also to have a 3D space where there's no recommenders, algorithms, etc. So this whole idea is to basically trace desire lines through media and to share paths with each other so that we can navigate the rhizome in a way. And this project, when I graduated, I had the opportunity to show it to different conferences and festivals. So in October, I was in Basel to present it at the AGI Open. And around the same time, I applied to the GIF Geneva Digital Market to present the project at the Swiss Interactive Session. And then over November, I also applied to the competition of the DAZ Festival in Zurich, through where I won the Web Award. So I was super happy about this. And basically now I'm working as an independent designer and programmer. I have a shared studio space in Renan with other designers, researchers, and teachers. And basically, this is the space that I use to work on several type of projects. So my practice now is basically divided in 3 parts, with the main one being the studio practice, where I work either alone or with other designers, other studios, or other developers. Among them, I work a lot at the moment with Tibor Idvari, who was in the same year as me. But I also have other ongoing collaborations with different studios to work on either graphic design projects related or more coding as well. So mostly websites at the moment. And this is also a part that I try to pursue in my self-initiated projects, such as trying to wrap up pathways to be publicly released and applying to funding and residencies to dedicate some time and space to work on those. And I also have a teaching position in Lausanne at Eracom, which is a school for graphic design, interaction design apprentices, to which I teach them an introduction course to UI design and web programming. So what I can show you in the latest projects I did is, for example, an identity for Meta's association, which is based between Lausanne and Geneva. They have an upcoming event in Lausanne in March to invite Vera van de Sepp and also people who won a prize from Meta last year. So there's Dorian, who was in my year, who won it from HEAD, and another student, Alumni from ECAL. This was a project using different sets of elements like CAPTCHA generated typography, which was then upscaled, and then using them as frames to do GAN animations. And other projects I did a bit earlier was, for example, this website for a Lausanne-based artist called Lucas Hérin, through which I did design and development. And another website as well that I did after that was for another artist based in Lausanne called David Gagneux-Bardebon, who's working on photography mostly, but also some web projects. And basically for this project, it was an input on having the most lightweight website as possible. And yeah, this is it for me at the moment. I have a lot of websites and books coming up, so I cannot share that with you yet, but that's what I had at the moment. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we'll go through all alumni presentation, and then at the end we'll do a round of questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, maybe Salome, you can go. Nice, thanks.
Sure. Hello. I'm gonna share my screen also. I can find where. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let me just. Sorry. Just the mid tab is just in front of my play. Coming back. Okay. So hello. My name is Salome Khan. So I graduated 2 years ago from Master Media Design. I'm not going to talk about my diploma project, but just so you know, have a theme. It was a project around the obsolescence of our digital domestic electronic objects. So it was a project that was in the middle of different fields, electronics, materiality, and storytelling, to give you a bit of a glimpse of this. So I'm going to go through my path to where I am now. It's only images and videos, no text, but I think for me it's really clear. So when I was in Master Media Design, I first did an internship with Studio Zen 1 Zedan that you maybe know already because they give courses in the Master Media Design. So it was a lot of it was mainly in working in Unreal Engine. So for me it was a...
I'm sorry to cut you, Salome, but we cannot see your screen.
Ah, I thought you were able to see it. I'm gonna share my whole desktop then. So then now, can you see?
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So yeah, so there was just one picture before of my diploma project. And then, so yeah, I did this internship with that one studio. It was more like working with Unreal Engine, a bit more into deep. So that's when I discovered also how to work with Blueprints, which is their nodal system to work in. And so this is just a glimpse of the project. And I also worked while I was in second year for a few months. I worked in a motion capture studio, so with dance and technologies, and it was for a VR project. Then after my diploma, I I was looking for a job, which sometimes can be a bit can take a few months. So in the meantime, I found an internship near Geneva in a documentary film festival, which is called Vision du Réel. And there I had a role of gathering information and other data to create the catalog of the industry, who is the professional part of the festival. So basically, film projects were coming to Nyon to present their films, and they had to pitch their projects. So I gathered everything, and I corrected a lot of text and gathered just data. So it was a really interesting experience for me, but it was less in the technology side that I wanted to keep in my personal professional life. So then after my internship, I applied again in other places, and I got in a company called Crew in Brussels. Crew Brussels. So here is a glimpse of their website. We are a company, like really small studio. We are, I think, like around 8 people at max. It's an XR studio, so we work with technologies and performing arts. So it's a way how to work with the body, but also how to work with digital tools. So it's really XR. What we're looking nowadays is XR works. And before it was a bit more oriented towards theater, but currently a bit less. So I did a cool sticker, so you can see. I like holographic stickers, anyways. So what I'm doing here in the studio is I'm a technical assistant for XR. So basically, I work in between all of the technologies we have. So we work a lot with VR and other components. We work with Unreal Engine, and we work also with motion capture. And I will explain a bit more in this presentation. So for that, we sometimes have representations in different places. I think between October and December, we traveled a lot. So it was also a lot of logistics, like montage, building the project for a space, and then demontage. And also the goal of the studio is to work with really broad spaces, which is usually not the case. And that's why we are also researching about our technologies, because it creates technical issues. I will get more into that a bit later. But so basically, this is, for example, the piece we are showing these days, which is called Anxious Arrival. So just so you have a glimpse, we were in Kik in October in Namur, and so just so you get a bit more what is the project about. So yeah, the challenge of this piece is that it's a live performance, a bit like a theater play, in different acts, and we have to every time adapt the project to the different spaces. And here we were in a school gymnasium, which was super cool space to have, but also created other issues. For example, the lines of the gymnasium were too regular, so we had issues with the headsets, which were getting lost in this symmetrical space. So here are also a few images of this. We even had children in VR, which was super interesting to see, because it's it can be a bit intense, VR for children, and actually we had some really good reactions from some of them. And so we traveled in other cities, mainly around Belgium, and we also have like physical elements, which is really interesting. It's really the link between physical and virtual world that we try to align the best. We also did a residency in Munich. I'm gonna cut this sound for now. A residency in Munich, where we had some more time to research about our next project, and it's more, but this was more visual research and how we can mix in our new elements. Because some of the fundings we are for research around animations, VR, and how we can implement different tools in our project. For example, we have a Chorus, which is one of the tool we are working on with the developers, and how we can, for example, have a live actor being able to switch in between characters in real time, which is an interesting asset to have. I'm going to speed up a bit. So here is more research. And for mockup, so we worked with 2 different technologies. This one we installed last week, but actually was in the studio for a few weeks. But it's with cameras and markers, which is more accurate, but it has to be in a limited space, and it's a bit longer to install, so it creates other coordination difficulties that we cannot really bring this on when we are on a one-day performance, for example, which is because it's too much logistics. But we are also using another technology which is for motion capture, which is based with cables. And this one is really great for live, but we have other issues, such as the virtual character drifting in the space with time, because we have such big spaces that this technology is not made for this. So we are researching on how to limit that. And yeah, we work with different components, like trackers for the headset, different types of headsets. Here's my colleague, super demonic. And every space is a challenge when the light changes for VR. So I have to make maps every time, so the world is aligned, and every time I'm researching on why we have different types of issues with lights and changing aspects of the spaces, which is always a really challenging challenge. And just to finish with a few other videos, because my time is over. For example, this week we had a workshop with lasers, so we were able to see how much our live actor was actually drifting in the virtual space. So this was a good way for us to know that we have to contact the company doing these suits and have a discussion with them, for example. And sometimes we have more practical projects. This was, for example, to show live emergency lighting simulation for a company to use in their space, so they can just do prevention with their employees, for example. So this was with a live actor. And yeah, we also give workshops sometimes. Last week we were with students from a school in Brussels. So yeah, that's pretty it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. Let's go next with Remy.
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, my name is Remy Opalinski. I graduated in 2019 now. It's been a while now. So I had previously a background in like more or less general design, motion design, that I did the bachelor degree in Canada. And after, so I came to do the master media design in Switzerland to show you. So now you're seeing my screen, yeah? All right. So basically during the master degree, I worked a lot with kind of the same principle, with some stance on critical speculative design, and most of the time with connected objects. And I really liked the approach that was in the master media design, that I think I didn't found anywhere else during my study. That having a critical stance about design, and it gave me the opportunity to explore a lot of different subjects. So, for instance, this one for non-French reader, it was about at the moment where we had a lot of personal assistant like Alexa or thing like this. So it was back in 2018. I work on this personal assistant about sentiment analysis about your voice pitch and how it could help foster improve mental health. And so we did during this project also, I was able to work a lot with a methodology of design ethnographies, or doing field observation interview to improve how I conduct my design. And so this was the kind of stuff I did during my degree, my 2 years in the media design. So this one was another one, was quite really speculative. It was before COVID. It was how do you call this? A mask designed for critical environment where there is too much gas or pollution, and this mask was supposed to be connected to an application and to give you like some kind of a Tinder, but like in apocalypse mood, where this mask, where you are breathing some kind of pollutant gas, and it will illuminate in different ways to find someone on this kind of Tinder. I worked also on project for the Mapping Festival, which is a big event in Geneva. If you come here about interactive and lighting stuff, this one was with the structure. We were indicating all the satellites, artificial satellites that were coming above Switzerland. And yeah, basically, and also this project, it was a project about the future of cheating at school. So how you could be a better cheater. So this pen was designed to allow you to, by putting it between your teeth with what we call a bone conductor. So it's sending you sounds by your bones and not by the air. It will give you the ability to hear your lessons into your mouth, and like this you were able to be a better cheater at school. So it was some kind of speculative project about how we can embed some complex things like AI into more and more tiny objects. So this was during the master media design. So after I completely stopped working in this kind of speculative thing, and I worked in a fintech company doing UX, which was a nightmare, really awful. And so I did 1 year there, and after I went to work at EPFL ECAL Lab, because I really liked the idea of working, blending research with design. And for 2 years, I worked on this interactive installation about photobook. So it with a huge team, because it was actually a super complex things to do. So there was lots of engineers, psychologists, other designers, but I was the one who was conducting the research and also putting the main tracks on how we should do the design. Of course, it was discussed along the team. And so basically, this interactive installation was showcased at Élysée Museum in Lausanne. It was about how you can widespread a cultural heritage like a photo book collection in a digital way. So they digitalize a whole part of their collection, and we play along with it. So the goal is that we translated some part of the photo book collection in different graphical and sound layers. For instance, the one you can see here was the blurriness inside the book. And what we did with the engineering team is that we made connection between all the books depending on this different graphical layers. So for instance, you were able to see which kind of books were got the same blurriness or thing like this. So it was a way to make an unexpected connection between a collection, and also presenting different ways to connect to photo book to the general public. And after that, I started to teach a little bit at a design school in Lyon, in France, about UX design. So and Figma, because I did a lot of Figma during this project, and a lot of user research. So yeah, I started to teach there last year, and I'm also doing what do you call that? A follow-up with a design project. We're working currently with the Red Cross about a big project with a modular system, a modular design system for the Red Cross in case of emergency. But I cannot show you anything of this right now because it's still in process. And more recently, I started with my associate my own interactive design studio. So it's called Bureau 1217, 1217. And so this one is more dedicated to a blend between cultural and commercial projects that we are doing. So yeah, it really depends for now because we just started. But it's kind of a blend of what we can do as an interactive design studios on UX, photogrammetry, websites. But we are also currently doing some research. Recently, we applied for a design conference about design research project that we were conducting about design object and spirituality. And I can talk more about this if there is question, but I think it will be longer if I start to speak about this. And to end this also currently with my associate, we are also currently working on a design object about blending mycelium, using mycelium to prevent soil degradation for gardeners. And this is mainly a project that we are developing right now and still in process. And yeah, basically that's all for me. We're kind of doing a mix between my practice as a designer and the researcher and the design studio.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much. Last but not least, Tamara?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. I don't know if I can share this. Can you see my screen? No. I had problems with Teams, so I don't know if I can. Let me check. It says I have to quit and come back. I had problems coming in, so I'm. Andrea, could you maybe share your screen? Is it too much trust?
Yes, no, of course. Send me
So it's metastories.io.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can already put your questions in the chat, and then we will answer them after Tamara's presentation. So don't hesitate if you already have questions to write them in the chat.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Tamara Leites, and my work is a little bit at the crossroads between art, design, and development. I create interactive installations, performing art pieces, or interactive solutions, such as apps or web apps or websites. I finished my master in media design in 2020, and my project was the beginning of a series of experimentations with AI. So in fact, my project was called Meta Stories, and that has become the title also of my professional exploration. In practical terms, I do both personal projects as well as collaborating with other artists for their projects. And I am currently involved in three research projects, two of them at HEAD and one at EPFL. So as a recap of my path, I first studied to become a developer. So I do mostly web-based solutions and apps, full stack technically. I then studied visual communication at HEAD, and the master in media design was represented like a perfect way to marry the two of them. And I really appreciated the freedom that we had to sway between either way and the exposure that we had to different possibilities. In my work, I like to focus on our connected lives, so our everyday lives affected by the technology that we've embraced and integrated so naturally that we almost don't think about it. So what does it mean to be a connected human? Donna Haraway talks about cyborgs in her cyborg manifesto, and she says that even wearing glasses or taking contraceptive pill makes us cyborgs, not some kind of sci-fi character from a distant future. And I really like this intersection of pop culture, internet culture, and how we go about our daily routines, how it all permeates into our existences. And at the time I did Meta Stories, which was my master project, I focused on the data that we share when we share pictures online. This was in 2019, 2020. And when I talk to people, they would often say like, oh, I have nothing to hide, or my life's not that interesting for my data to be used. And I wanted to focus on that because I felt that at some point we would be questioning this instead of just shrugging it off like it was nothing. So fast forward to today, it has become a main concern, even on a governmental level. And one of the things I really like, so from this project, I work with, my tutor was Simon Sen, who's an artist, a performing artist. And so we went through, for this project, I trained GPT-2 was back then, and kind of like to create a conversational, very primitive conversational being or whatever character, and I found like lots of problems to train it because nobody wanted to give me their text or anything. And at the end of the project, Simon Sen told me, I know you had lots of problems with finding training data. If you want to, I can give you my data. And I was super happy, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you were a writer? And he said, no, I'm not a writer at all, but I can give you my personal text. And so we started like experimenting with him, and that led to creating, well, he's a performing artist, so he suggested that we presented the whole experience as a theater piece, and that's what we did. It was a performance that until last year we did it still. And I think one of the things I really like about presenting these reflections that are kind of raw, and I mean we do a lot of work around them, but it's you know, it's not a conclusion. It's not like when you present some research that you have conclusions to. It's like, you know, experimental work, and I really like presenting them in artistic context because it can be food for thought or for collective thought. And I really appreciate like the human connections that are weaved by togetherness, or whether it's virtual or real. And then following that, I was invited by le Festival d'Arles de la Photo, so the photography festival, to create an interactive piece in which passers-by would just share a photo, and they would see visual analysis of their photo, of their image, only in the form of hashtags and percentages. And they really liked the proposal because they were like, oh, okay, even if it's a famous photo, we don't know, we're just seeing what algorithms will stock of these photos that we appreciate as humans. And you know, the level of appreciation is completely different. After that, I was invited to participate in 2 projects by 2 different artists. One is Human in the Loop, which is a performance, dance performance by Nicole Zeiler, for which I created a whole system for her to generate the performance. It's AI generated and performed by human dancers. And this was presented at La Biennale di Venezia last year. And then the other project is La Machine à Tube by a singer called My Name is Fuzzy, which is like take home the jukebox. And so you have a little interaction where you make some choices, and then AI generates a whole song based on his style and music and lyrics. Now the last project that I've worked on is an interactive installation called 200K Plus, which is right now at Le Commun in Geneva, until next week, which is we worked with 2 artists, Anton de Macedo and Paul Merino, and they created a whole installation with extracts from books that were all sewn together and then displayed in a very architectural way. And then we augmented that by taking extracts from those texts in the their work talks about prompting, and it takes books as prompts. So I'm saying this very quickly so I don't go over time, but then you can read about it. And so what we did is we used excerpts from those excerpts, and we used them as prompts to create new phrases according to an emoji that you can choose, like whether you're in a good mood, bad mood, etc. So it creates like a quotation, a lifestyle quotation, similar to those you can share on social media. And it was to talk about, you know, the both things, like prompting and the things that you can find on social media. And then the other project that is not yet released, but is going to be released, is going to be in August at FIFAD. It's called Révélation, and it's an interactive installation, again, talking about so due to climate change, the snow is melting, and there are many bodies that are going to be found in the mountains. So that is the subject, and we're creating a neo-documentary in which you take a structure, you make it spin, and then it takes you forward a few years, and then it's going to show like a mini documentary of a person that is likely to be found in that amount of years. And that's about it. Thank you, Andrea.
Nice. Thank you very much. Now we have time for questions. So if anybody has a question, you can ask in the chat. Otherwise, if for now there is no question, I have one question for you. Maybe Tamara, you already spoke about it, but maybe for the others, what was the main thing that you learned in the master program, and how did it help you afterwards? So maybe Remy, as you finished some time ago.
Yeah, sure. But I think it's not a precise thing, but more how to approach a project in a way that is, yeah, like having really a critical and a way of thinking of design project, and how you make all conscious choices to make something really impactful, but also meaningful in terms of interaction or any design decision that you need to make. And but any detail, it's important, because I think from my vision and from what I remember in the master, you can really try to learn. I mean, it depends on you, on what you want to learn. You can either focus on, I don't know, be super good at prototyping or coding or electronics, or three of them if you're super good. But it's, for me, it's more the approach toward realizing the project that I really liked, and it really changed my perspective, because when I used to study in Canada, it was more university design, so really applied and really different. And so for me, the master media design really taught me this.
Thank you. Other questions there? No questions. So maybe is it the same for the three of you too? Like what did you learn from the master program? Maybe Salome, as
Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, for me, it was more also like not something specific, as like 2 years is short to really go in deep into one special field. And since the goal of the master media design is to learn like across different technologies and different subjects, for me, it's what's helped me now to be really flexible. For example, in my current work, I can do, like, I'm not specialized, for example, in Unreal Engine, but I can do some, but I can also do some VR and some be able to at least understand motion capture and how it works and how to work with it, and difficulties of the different technologies. So for me, yeah, it's like the broad range of knowledge that was brought in the master that helped me to like be flexible in this type of job, for example.
Yeah, I think I agree with the flexibility aspect of what you just said, Salome. I think for me, really, the first year was super rewarding in terms of nourishing the curiosity and open up the fields of what you can do. Especially for me, when I didn't do a background of interactive design before, so I was super happy to yeah, like leave a bit the print side of graphic design aside, and then to focus on how do you make interactive projects work, and then to reach the second year and to focus on something you actually like based on all of that you discovered during the first year. And yeah, for me, it was really more the creative coding aspect of things, and which I really pushed further during the second year, and also between the 2 years when you have the opportunity to do an internship. And for this, I did a internship in the summer for a web developer, and it really helped me to get the skills I then needed for the diploma. So yeah, it was really a nice transition from the first to the second year.
For me, I think the flexibility part was as well super interesting because I, coming from a development kind of background, I had this like I put the pressure on myself to like have things that work and work properly, and when you work with new technologies, like you always find like unexpected things that can happen, and you have to adapt, and learning to adapt things from what we imagined that was going to be the outcome to whatever we can, you know, and make it work, and actually make it work with the project, and focusing more on the message that you want to get through instead of everything working perfectly and being like super well developed. I think that was a very good learning thing, a learning opportunity for me. And yeah, and I took advantage of the possibility of when we have like Semaine de tous les possibles, or like workshops that you can do in different domains, not only in media design, not only in design, like going to arts or I don't know, fashion design or stuff like that. It was that was a great opportunity to still do whatever you like, but like explore other things and not have the pressure to, you know, like allow yourself to play with other things that you may not have the opportunity to like do in your daily work life afterwards.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much. If somebody has a question, you can ask now, or I think we are good. So yes, thank you very much, all four of you, for your talks, for your sharing your experience with us. And yeah, thank you very much. See you around.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for the
much.
invitation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.